Hello everybody! Today we are going to be talking about OZPIN'S message to Qrow, but before we get started, let me remind you guys that you guys should pledge to us on Patreon to help support the channel, or you should join our Discord server. Wow, Hunter, that was pretty sad.
Listen, right, fight in this dress? I think fucking not.
So we're talking about OZPIN'S message to Qrow today. So Qrow says to get the relic to Atlas. Why? So, apparently this was up for debate in the Discord, and I was like, really, guys? Like, no offense or anything, I'm just saying.
Full
it's pretty basic, I guess.
We're like Captain argue about small shit over here.
Yes, okay.
Even that.
But there's a really, there's, three basic reasons why you would take the relic to Atlas. Like, it's not rocket science or anything, right? So, here's my first reason, okay? Ironwood is at least in contact with Qrow. But Vacuo seems like a free-for-all because the headmaster hasn't talked to OZPIN in literally, 7 years or something. They didn't give an exact number, but they said, a couple years. Like, a good amount of years.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that's reason number one, right? Reason number two, Atlas is closing their gates, right? And I'm sure that Ironwood would let OZPIN in once
They're building a very large wall.
Yeah, once Ironwood is alerted to OZPIN trying to get in the city, they'll let them in, and so that makes Atlas pretty much the safest place right now because it is on lockdown to some extent. You would think, right? But the villains can probably get in without even though the border's closed or whatever's going on over there. But it's still safer than Vacuo because Vacuo is a free-for-all. And they can't go back to Beacon because obviously Beacon is fucked up to shit. So, their only option is Atlas or Vacuo, and Vacuo just isn't a good option. So, there you go. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So, the third option is, in my mind, is just because the plot told them to. They can't stay in Mistral, and then Atlas or we always knew they were gonna have to go to Atlas to protect the Atlas relic anyway. So, this is just kind of an excuse to take the relic to Atlas, right? And so I don't think it's, those are three pretty basic reasons, but the strongest one, I think, is that Ironwood is a very good ally to have right now, and if they want to be in a safe place, the safest place to be is basically Atlas, because there's, the White Fang has been broken up, so there shouldn't be that much White Fang activity. The bad guys are going to have a trickier time. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but a trickier time because the border's closed and because, Ironwood is going to be able to protect the relic with the military.
Yes. With
their fancy robots and all that stuff. So, I don't know why this is so much of a point, so to say.
To be fair, don't you think that he would have lost confidence in his military after Volume 3?
Ironwood? That's why he's trying to make it stronger.
Maybe, but his military was all there, and it did absolutely nothing. And my god, do you see John's back breasts?
But that's why Ironwood is going full lockdown now, because he's trying to restore faith in his military to an extent, right? That's why he pulled out Winter from Mistral and all that. Right?
He never pulls out of Winter. Da, 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 da.
Okay,
sorry.
But that's why he, takes all of his troops back from everywhere, because he's y'all need retraining, y'all gotta protect Atlas, you know what I mean?
I wonder if he wouldn't like robots anymore after the recent debacle with
but that's the other thing, is that in Atlas there is advanced technology that can help them on their journey, right? So it only makes sense to go over there. As for why, I don't think that the relic necessarily does anything special in Atlas, so it's not take the relic to Atlas because then it will work. It's not that stuff, right? It's just take the relic to somewhere safe. That somewhere safe is Atlas. That's how I personally interpret that message. So, what do you think, Hunter?
I don't know necessarily that... Well, I think they probably have more allies, because I don't think Minstrel, it's not under the control of Salem, strictly speaking.
Yeah, Lionheart isn't... Lionheart was a big pawn, right?
It also isn't, stable. There's no acting government, there's no, I don't know, headmaster of Haven Academy anymore.
And that was a big thing, right? That is really... Lionheart was a big key in Salem's plan, right? And they don't have that over in Atlas, right? They may have that in Vacuo because Vacuo hasn't responded for 10 years. We don't know, right?
Yeah.
And so it would be best for them to go to Atlas if they want to protect the relic. They can't
Not
go
only
back
that,
to Beacon.
It's the closest by, and
yeah,
they
that's
can
what I was
find
saying
the
too.
other, geographically speaking, just makes the most sense.
I know, and so I'm like, why are we talking, like, why are we arguing about this? Like, it's pretty, like, there's probably multiple reasons why they're going over there, but I think that it's pretty clear why, all in all, you know what I mean? And this also, like, they spent, okay, so a couple people, I'm not gonna name names, but a couple people in my Discord server before this episode came out were very, very sure that next we were going to Vacuo. And I was like, first of all, that doesn't make sense based on the map.
I mean, they could have just gone in the other direction, I'd imagine, but you'd have to still cross another continent.
Yeah, and so that was my, like, whole thing. So basically, they would have to go, either they would go through Vale again to get to Vacuo, based on the map, or they could use the ocean or whatever, but I'm not sure how well that's going, because, like, we can assume that Remnant's probably a globe, right?
Yes.
And so Vacuo is on the other side of the ocean that is on the left.
Yes.
While the ocean to the side of Mistral actually curves around and it's like a path, right? But like that sounds very complicated to an
unless
extent.
it's like
unnecessary.
Game of Thrones where the world's flat or something.
Yeah, so that's an issue. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like they'd have to cross all the way back. You know what I mean? And somebody was like, but the moon can't rotate if the world is flat. And I'm like, the moon can do whatever the fuck it wants. It's a fantasy moon, okay? Leave it alone.
It's already broken in a sense.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's funny. In terms of that, like, you'd basically be doing a lot of work just to get all the way to Vacuo when Vacuo isn't even that safe in the first place. And Vacuo hasn't been built up, and so this is why I didn't understand why people were suggesting we'd be going to Vacuo. It's because Vacuo has gotten no development. Like, I think the only person that has gone there that we've actually talked to is Sun. Because Sun is from Vacuo, but goes to school in Mistral.
Maybe also Velvet? I don't know.
Velvet's from Menagerie.
Oh, right.
Because she has the accent. Well, no, they don't have an accent, but she's Australian,
oh,
right?
Anyways.
But...
Australia.
Yeah,
Poor
and so
Australia.
Weiss, like, basically built up Atlas and what we can expect from Atlas to an extent, right?
Yeah,
like, Weiss's arc developed Atlas, and Blake's arc developed Menagerie, and so it made sense that we would be in Menagerie and then later be in Atlas, right? So it doesn't make sense for us to go to Vacuo when we have no idea what the flip-flap is going on over in Vacuo, you know what I mean? So that would be kind of weird. And also, this brings back to Jacques and Whitley and Winter, like, you know, it connects better into the story.
What if we go over there and, like, Whitley's become a dictator? Like, he's gone mad
What do you
with
mean?
Power? Yeah, because, like, at the
He
end...
just has
like,
a Schnee Dust Company. He's not that big of a deal.
He kind of... Didn't they say before that he's sort of, like has extreme amounts of power in Atlas?
What do you mean, Jacques?
Yes.
Not really. Jacques just runs a Schnee Dust Company, and yes, dust is important, I guess.
I thought they brought... Okay, maybe that's just me conflating the actual show with fan fiction, but oftentimes they sort of have him being as, like, an oligarch.
James has 2 seats on the council, so if anything...
How? Again? Do we have
he runs the school and he runs the military.
Right.
That gives him 2 seats.
I forgot that he ran the school.
Yeah,
I was about to say, where's the fucking school guy? Anyway.
Where's the school guy? Yeah, and so that's who I think you're thinking of has a lot of power. It's Ironwood. But Jacques, yeah, and so it just makes sense to go to Atlas. Like, from a story perspective, that is basically where it makes sense to go. Now, however, for Weiss, though, I feel bad. Because imagine, like, it's like if I were to walk all the way to Hunter's house, and then Hunter's just not home. Like, and then I have to walk all the way back to my house and just be sad back at my house, you know what I mean? Like, obviously Hunter's house is only, like, a couple minutes away from mine.
Yeah, it's not a 16...
But, like, that's basically what it is. Like, that same sadness would be in Weiss, but just more intense. Like, she spent so much time trying to leave Atlas, and now she has to go back to Atlas. Like, she's gonna be like, Qrow, are you fucking kidding me?
It's not...
Like, it's not nice.
Like, your walk to my house doesn't take, like, 8 months, 9 months.
I know, but, like, it felt like that.
And you probably aren't gonna, like, have your life threatened.
You don't know
by
that.
goblins or whatever the fuck.
Goblins? What do you mean? Grim?
Yeah, sure, but also, you know, goblins.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to talk about that, because, like, I don't remember, but somebody was like, this crack theory YouTuber said this or something, like, about why they're going at Atlas, and I'm like, y'all gotta stop. Anyway, and so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video.
If you understand the lore of Joan of Arc, because of course it has to do with Jean,
yeah, that's
what
I'm saying, yeah. So that's kind of what it was. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember that you guys should join our Discord server or become patrons over on Patreon. And we will will talk to y'all later. Again, I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, I had something else to say. I don't remember anymore. That's fine. Anyways, bye guys. Hunter's like trying to reach over for the joops here. I thought he was giving me a hug, and I was like, "Oh, that's so nice, Hunter." And then,
No,
then he reached for the joop.
I'm going for the joop.
That's a great way to end this video. Anyway, bye guys.